Today we're going to shoot some shots, or shots fired, or whatever you want to say, at the TSP seasonal group, Deb Crown, and the idea of TSP day traders or month traders or whatever. And so let me preface, I'm not in the group anymore. I don't know if I have no idea what happened. So I thought I was in the group, but I'm not. And then I'm not blocked because I tried to join the group and I was able to find the group, but they've never accepted my join request. I've tried 2 or 3 times, don't get accepted. Not really sure why. Maybe they know who I am, and they just don't want somebody speaking the voice of a different opinion, which I think in and of itself probably answers really all you need to know about this video. But about 2 months ago, somebody screenshot a post that was made in there where someone shared my book and basically just said, oh my God, I really wanted to like this book, but Dave said Lifecycle funds are okay, and I can't stand behind that terrible advice, blah, 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 whatever. And then I had already tried to join previously, but I couldn't join then to comment. So I don't know, who wants opinions when you could just speak whatever you want in a vacuum and not have to worry about ever being told you're wrong. So the first thing I would say to that is they clearly either didn't read the entire chapter or just weren't paying attention, because I don't recommend that people put their money in Lifecycle funds. That's not my game. My money is not in a Lifecycle fund. What I recommend is that people either do their own research, understand the funds, the allocations, the contributions, all the things, and know what they're doing, like know what your allocation's actually invested in. Or yeah, the Lifecycle fund is a better option than not knowing and just gambling. Because for the last however freaking long, until 2020 when we went to the blended retirement system, money started out in the G fund, which is basically like government-backed securities. So it never loses money, but it doesn't go above like 2 to 3% return, which is not outpacing inflation, and it's not great, and really it's just not the right place. The only time that G fund makes sense is if you're close to retirement, so you want that low risk, or if you are like, I guess if there was a recession, but I don't believe in timing the market, so you're not gonna know that, and then you're gonna miss the timing, you're gonna miss out on gains closer to retirement, right, when you're trying to play it safer, which the Lifecycle fund does. The Lifecycle fund starts off very aggressive, and as you get older, it progressively moves to more conservative, so that if a recession hits 2 years before you can start withdrawing, your money won't take as much of a dip, because you can afford to have your money drop and go up, then drop and go up at a young age and have more risk and more likelihood of return on investment. At a older age, that's just not the case. The risk is, you want to mitigate that risk, lower that risk, and you want to be able to, weather a storm and not have like a massive drop right before you need to use that money towards retirement. So that's kind of my idea, right? Either invest in yourself and learn how to utilize all this stuff, or the Lifecycle fund is better than the G fund, or just choosing a fund blindly without any idea what it is and not paying attention to it. Now, when I say research it, a lot of times I recommend, and I've had him on the podcast, JL Collins, his book, Simple Path to Wealth, which is all about index funds, dollar cost averaging, and how this works to build wealth. And he's got some great data. It's a freaking phenomenal book. He's a really smart dude. The podcast episode was awesome. And in there, he talks about TSP allocations. And so I have based my TSP allocation off of what he recommended. And personally, I'll tell you that I'm in 75% C fund, 25% S fund. At one point, I was 70 C fund, 20 S fund, 10 I fund. Both of those are fine. They're a little bit more aggressive. They closely mirror, and the 75-25 more closely mirrors the VTSAX, which is Vanguard's like flagship model for index funds. It is the total stock market index. So that's what I want. I want total stock market, so that I am betting on the entire economy of the United States. I think long run, that's a really good bet. And if that bet turns out to be wrong, like wrong, well then any investment you would have made, it doesn't matter, you'd be screwed. So I like to bet on the entire economy in one broad stroke. Total stock market fund, every company, it's wonderful. Now, on to this other thing. So, you know, the seasonal group tries to say, and they've got, you know, some evidence for the last 10 or 20 years or whatever, that if you change funds at different times, historically, your return will be better. It'll be higher, average, whatever. The problem with this is that, you know, like anything, for one, your fees are a little higher as you're bouncing between funds because there's transaction costs and, you know, maybe depending on which fund you're in, maybe some tax ramifications, but not really on the TSP side so much as like index fund side. But the reality is, like, if you look at the data historically, no matter when you started investing in stock market, if you invested the same amount every month, long term, always, you would have returned much better. We'll just use the S&P 500, right? You will have gotten a much better return than if you tried to game the market in any case, right? Like, nobody outpaces the market long term. The people who are like the absolute best professionals in the world outpace the market once in a while, and then they don't. And even if they keep tabs and they outpace the market once in a while, the fees and fee structure and everything for that actively managed account eats away at it, and you're probably still net zero or net loss compared to if you just dollar cost averaged into the S&P 500 and let it roll. Trying to time the market is a losing game. You have to time it on both ends, right? So you have to time exactly when the market's gonna drop. So you get the perfect peak, because if you pull too soon, you missed out on some potential gains. And even if it drops, it might not drop as far as where you pulled out. And if you pull too late, it's already dropped, and now you've lost. So if you sell then, you're bad. So you have to time it just right at the top and move it into the G fund. And then you have to be ready, willing, able, and continually paying attention to try to time it just right to when it goes back up in order to reap that benefit. The odds of that happening and you being right about it are so slim, and the amount of effort and energy you got to put into it, it's ridiculous. So yeah, no, I don't buy into the whole TSP day trading. The beauty of the TSP is that you can choose how much you want to contribute, choose what fund you want it to go to, and then never touch it again. And it just automatically happens. And it grows, and it grows, and it downs, and it grows, and it ups and downs, and ups and downs. And long term, it grows. And you become very wealthy, and you do very well, and you can live off of it, and it's a great retirement plan. And you pretty much spent no effort on it. The one thing that I do, every month I look at my TSP just because I calculate my net worth at the first of every month. So I look at it just to see where it's at. Outside of that, the only thing I do is if the percentage gets off, I'll rebalance. So I contribute 75 and 25. If the 25 grows much faster than the 75, and so it's like 27% and 73%, then I will balance it back to 25, 75. Maybe once a quarter, once every 6 months, maybe even just once a year. I don't know. I mean, it's rare that balance goes off by a full percentage. So, if that balance goes off, I might rebalance it, recenter it, but that's pretty much it. I try to maintain the 75-25, and I don't play the TSP seasonal game, and I don't day trade it, and I don't try to game the game and time the market and whatever. And this is not meant to call them out. There's a lot of people in that group. I'm sure that there are a lot of people who've had success. The problem is that they're not gonna really talk about when they miss. They're not gonna publicly be like, well, we screwed that one up. And now all of the gains we had over the last 2 years are completely wiped out, null and void, doesn't matter. That's just not the case, right? And so you need to make sure that you understand these things, and you need to make sure that you're taken care of and you're ready to rock and roll, and make it as simple as possible. The easier it is to invest, the more likely you are to actually stick with it, the more successful you're going to be in life. So hope you got something out of this. Like, subscribe, comment down below if I'm wrong. Comment down below if you know why they won't let me in the group. If you are in the group and you have those rights, I'd like to join and have some dialogue and poke some holes, and maybe I'll learn something. I don't know. I'm not a closed-minded dude, but the fact that nobody will let me in, and they'll post about my book without reading it all the way and then not actually accept me into the group is, kind of says what it needs to say, I think. But it is what it is. I'm here to help service members and vets learn how to build wealth in the military, out of the military, after the military, use your benefits, your whatever, and get fucking rich so you can do whatever the hell you want with life. So follow along, have a great day.